So I heard about this just a few minutes ago, and it's left me with a lot of thoughts and questions. Belize has decided to abandon Israel and support Gaza? Not sure. Let's read the press release. Right, here's the press. Here's the press release. The funny thing about this whole situation is that not even most Muslim nations have condemned Israel, or more specifically, cut ties with them. I mean, many nations on earth have condemned Israel, but the Muslim nations have not even been cutting ties with Israel yet. Belize is willing to do that. So let's go ahead and read here. Since the 7th of October 2023, the Israeli Defense Force has engaged in unceasing, indiscriminate bombings in Gaza, which has killed more than 11,000 innocent civilians, mostly women and children. The bombing has destroyed many buildings and infrastructure, including hospitals, schools, and other infrastructure. Well, there's a bunch of things to be said about this. First of all, in war, a lot of stuff gets destroyed. That's sadly how it works. And when you go and you attack a nation for no reason and murder and torture and burn alive and rape 1,400 civilians, there's going to be consequences. And some of those consequences are getting bombed for the actions you just committed. And so let's go back to this point here, 11,000 innocent civilians. That is a number exclusively put out by Hamas. There's no evidence to support that figure. If they would have stated that Gaza has been unceasingly and indiscriminately bombing Israel, they would have been correct. Because that is what Gaza has been doing. Missiles have been flying every single day into Israel still. And Israel has shot down thousands of bombs and missiles since the October 7th. Israel has also bombed Gaza. That's also true. But they've been very careful in selecting their targets, what buildings they're attacking. At one point it was claimed that Israel had bombed the Gazan hospital. Oh, the horror. Except it turned out that even the Al Jazeera News admitted that it was Hamas actually who had a misfire and bombed their own hospital. Of course, there was not much outrage over that because Hamas does it all the time. Hamas has bombed Israeli hospitals before, and that's fine too. It's really bad when Israel does it, but it's fine when Hamas does it. The funny thing is, Israel almost always goes out of their way to go and send messages to the people in Gaza before they bomb a location. They'll even fly drones over and planes and drop pamphlets on them and let them know, hey, we're about to bomb this area, get out. The problem has been, though, that Hamas murders their own people when they're trying to escape. Hamas refused to let their own people escape from Gaza, literally killing them by the hundreds on the road out of Gaza. It says more than 1 million Gazans are internally displaced as a direct result of the war. Basic necessities of life, water, food, electricity, and medical supplies are severely curtailed by the Israeli-imposed siege on Gaza. Lives have been lost as a result. So again, same thing I was saying before. This is war. In war, you don't want to supply your enemy. And so clearly, Israel wants to be careful that the supplies that are going into Gaza are actually going to benefit the Gazans. Because what's actually been happening is that the Hamas has been stealing the fuel and medical supplies and hiding them for themselves. In fact, the main hospital in Gaza actually has had their fuel stolen multiple times by the Hamas. They don't care about their people in the least bit. They don't care. Since the 7th of October 2023, Israel has consistently violated international law, international humanitarian law, and human rights of Gazans. The evidence they did not produce here, but nonetheless, it's easy to make a claim like that. The government of Belize has repeatedly condemned the actions of the IDF in Gaza. We have appealed to Israel to implement an immediate ceasefire to allow unimpeded access to humanitarian supplies into Gaza. I don't know if any of you guys ever watched the movie Kill Bill. Not a nice movie by any means, but this lady gets raped and used as a toy in a hospital for a long time, and when she finally wakes up, she's a little bit mad, and she goes back and kind of takes revenge on the people who did this evil stuff to her, right? How about ceasefire? Right after she wakes up, right after she realizes all the evil that's been done to her, right after they come and send murderers after her to kill her, how about right then, right before she's about to defend herself? How about ceasefire? No revenge. Sorry. You've been raped, mutilated, attempted murder. That's totally fine. No defense. Ceasefire. That's exactly what's happening in Israel now. Israel has been absolutely horrendously attacked by Gaza, by Hamas fighters, and now we want a ceasefire. How about we would have asked for a ceasefire in the last 20 years as Hamas kept continually attacking Israel. That might have been a good time to do it, right? Despite our request, Israel has not stopped its violation of international humanitarian law nor allowed relief workers to alleviate the suffering of millions in Gaza. Well, actually, Israel has been sending some of their own doctors into Gaza to help with the situation. Of course, they haven't been sending any Jews because Jews get murdered. Jews get instantly killed if they walk into Gaza. Not the other way around. Palestinians and Gazans can walk into Israel and be relatively fine. But yeah, if a Jew walks into Gaza, they're instantly dead. They're raped, murdered, and beat to death. Not quite the same, these two places. You know, one is a bit different than the other. With the approval of the Cabinet and other PUP members of the House of Representatives, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, and Immigration has implemented the following measures that are to take immediate effect. The government of Belize is withdrawing its agreement for the accreditation of the Israeli ambassador designate to Belize. All activities conducted by the Israeli honorary consulate in Belize and the appointment of the honorary consul are suspended. The government of Belize is further suspending all activities of Belize honorary consul in Tel Aviv, Israel, and withdrawing the appointment of its honorary consul. The government of Belize also withdrawing its request of accreditation for Mr. Jonathan Enev as Belize's honorary consul. Belize renews its call for immediate ceasefire in Gaza, unimpeded access to humanitarian supplies into Gaza, and the release of all hostages. Oh, wow! Right at the end. The immediate release of all hostages. Perhaps you should have started with that. That might have been the first thing you put at the top of the list. 240 hostages still in Gaza more than a month later. Maybe you should have started with that, Mr. Government. I have a serious question. Since when has Belize become an Islamic nation? Somewhere I failed to get that notice. Last time I checked, about 40% of the Belizean population is Protestant Christian. About 20% is Catholic. 30%, something like it. And I forget the other percentage, but basically, we're about 70% Christian in this country. God-fearing nation. Yet somewhere you lost the memo where godly people generally want to stand with Israel because we prefer not to have the wrath of God fall on us. So please, Mr. Government, please retract your statements. Please retract the stupid decision you've made. You are actually making choices different than even the United States of America are making. Even the United States stands with Israel. I think you are you're playing with fire by making this decision. But I agree wholeheartedly with the comments underneath this press release. Let me read you a couple of those. One commenter writes, "Why do I feel sick to my stomach about this decision? At least we know where our government sits on the matter. All things being equal, how about expressing outrage at the actions of the opposing side and call for a ceasefire? That's what friends would do in a fight." Another commenter says, "I'm the only one hearing the name of Belize for the first time. Right on, Israel. Let the terrorist nations realize that no one has the monopoly of violence." Another commenter says, "Wrong call, government of Belize. Bad, bad." Of course, there's some people who agree with this. Another person says, "When was Belize even asked about this?" And I kind of agree with that. I think Belize is very ignorant to put their foot in it. They should have kept their mouth shut and just move on. At worst. At best, they should have supported Israel. Maybe you should write about what happened before October 7th. Says another commenter. The point is, this war has been going on for a long time. But as the first prime minister of Israel said, one of the first prime ministers, she said, as long as the Palestinians will hate the Israelis more than they love their own children, the war will never end. And that is the problem. The Palestinians hate Israel more than they love their own children. Therefore, this war will never see an end. And as Benjamin Netanyahu, the current Israeli prime minister, has said many times, if Israel would stop defending itself, it would cease to exist. If Palestine stopped attacking Israel, there would be peace. And that is the big difference between these two nations. And the funny thing is, not even Egypt is willing to take in refugees from Palestine. They've been very adamant. I don't know if you knew this, but Egypt actually has a border with Gaza. They refuse to let any refugees across. Many Arab nations have been asked about the situation if they would take refugees. They don't want to support these people. They know what kind of evil religious people live in Palestine, and that their nations will suffer severely from these terrorists if they let them in. Now, I will say, I know there are innocent people in Gaza. Sadly, there are innocent people in every war. World War I, World War II. Listen, I wish every life could be saved that's possible. But it's not like Israel decided on their own to suddenly just go and invade. And honestly, I've been amazed by Israel even choosing to go in with soldiers on the ground. It would be much smarter for them to just bomb from the sky and bomb the hell out of Gaza, because it would not be sacrificing their own lives. But to properly eliminate Hamas, this is the only way. And Israel is showing that they are tired of Hamas and they will destroy them. And if you would take time to actually watch some other media than just the media that is pushed into your house every day through your television, you would find out that the people in Gaza, the Palestinians, there are some who are sick and tired of Hamas. Sadly, I believe still the vast majority of the Palestinians, as you want to call, as they want to be called, in Gaza, have been brainwashed to genuinely hate Israel. And I do not see this ending peacefully anytime soon, sadly. But I can tell you that calling for a ceasefire after being attacked is very ignorant. It's very ignorant. A country has to defend itself when it's attacked, especially in such a horrendous way as Israel was attacked on October 7th. I would highly wish the people in this country would come out and protest this crazy statement, and that our government would retract their statement immediately. This is not who Belize is. This is totally ridiculous to condemn Israel in such a way, and then not to have anything in there with the condemnation of Gaza, except in the final verse, Belize renews its call for an immediate ceasefire, the unimpeded act. What do you, again? You're not even condemning Gaza, the entire thing. I'm very disappointed, and I truly hope this is not where this country is going. Have yourself a wonderful evening. God bless you.